Hearing the dope music and seeing the.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to New Dalancia Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition Homebrew Campaign. And this is the finale for Chapter 11. I always that takes an immense amount of processing power for me for some reason. I keep wanting to say this is the finale for Chapter 12 because for the longest time I sat here thinking the whole time this was 12. We were already in 12. And so when I was planning for the next chapter, I freaked out for a minute, like, oh no, I missed a chapter somewhere in my notes. And no, we're on chapter 11. I'm a dumb guy. Anyway, welcome back. I'm sorry about the delay. Today we seem to be a little bit reckless. That was a little joke.
But
that was really good, VG.
Thanks.
Making me rage here.
When he makes a joke, it's funny.
R.I.P. Okay, so let's go ahead and just pick right up from where we left off last time. As you, well, actually, I guess we should start with what happened last time. It was like one big piece of news. You guys felled a false Hydra, right?
Well, I mean, we secured it in a portal on the other side of wherever that was. So it's someone else's problem.
Yeah, I was about to...
Ooh, acid. We got about 20% of that sentence.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Sounds better.
Yeah. Now
Maybe the
cool.
mic was just a little too far away.
Maybe. Well, secured it on the other side of a portal. Whatever happens, or whatever happened, you now stand on, on your side of the portal with just these two big, or these two giant false Hydra heads just kind of laid out on the ground. One of which, what was his name again?
Bagram?
What's that?
Bagram?
Yeah, Bagram. Yes, Bagram. I don't know why. I always want to call him Rollo, but it's Bagram. Crawled out from one of the two heads. So let me actually. Why don't we go ahead and cut over to the cave network? Did I activate that? Now I did. Get a little bit of appropriate music rolling. And I'm also going to stand up because I want to stand up. Valphalin walks over to this head right next to him and prods it with the end of his sword. Seems dead. You could never tell with such creatures.
Talanith pokes one of the dead heads with his dagger.
It doesn't move. The dagger just kind of effortlessly sinks in to its flesh.
Definitely dead.
Bagram over here says, all the better, I'd say. But whatever. Fuck with one of them again. The fuck was that thing?
It would have been your untimely death if we had not shown up.
Very true. You kind of realize this is the first time you've kind of seen Bagram, like, really just humbled, like, at his life's actual end, and he does, in fact, seem kind of grateful to you. How does that make you feel? How does that make Tess feel?
Delighted. She's going to reach out and place her hand on Bagram's shoulder and kind of grip it firmly. Does this mean we are best friends now?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wouldn't go that far. Still, you did save my life, and for that,
You faded out. You what?
I said for that, I am thankful.
You're welcome, bestie.
Now, we shouldn't waste time. You should probably collect some of these samples. Maybe you should save some of these skulls with your moms.
Not worthy, but Tess will take a sample of its flesh.
I mean, this is a creature of lore, so...
Either way, somebody needs to pick up this thing and take it back to show evidence. And Tess does not volunteer to carry it.
How big is this thing anyway?
So I would say that it's tree trunk size, but that's probably not a very good comparison. I would say that it's about 3 feet in diameter at the neck, a little bit larger at the head, but it has sort of a gelatinous kind of, what's the term I'm looking for? Texture about it. Yeah, it's got a gelatinous type of texture about it that sort of lends to the fact that it can like grow and shrink and expand in size and shrink back down. I can carry it if that's what we intend to do. I am not sure about parading it through town, as it were.
Maybe not through town, but we will need to at least bring proof to the magic community and possibly to the council as well.
My question to you is, if
Will
not
they even
through
be able to
town-
see it?
Now that it is not singing, people should be able to see it.
Quite right.
We could wrap a cape around one of the heads and bring it back that way. Multiple capes.
There is lore of previous creatures in past where you would want to have their heads wrapped just in case, because sometimes the magic within them does become active, even when they are dead.
I wonder. What about if we make it invisible? No, you're right. The cloak idea is probably a better one anyway.
I'm trying to see if it's possible to use
So-
Pass Without Trace on it.
Well, I was actually looking at, because I was considering using polymorph on it.
I'm not sure if that would work. Would that work?
It
Is that
does say
something-
turn a creature, but the problem is that it does care about saving throws. It has no effect on a shape changer or a creature with 0 hit points.
Oh, okay. Has to be alive. You just like walk through town like carrying some kind of dead animal or something. Like what the fuck?
Tess does not think that invisibility is necessarily a bad idea.
I think it would drip or something. You'd probably have a problem with. Yeah, just a thought, you know.
Now, on the other hand, would it be possible to freeze it?
You'd still have it like in an ice box, carrying it through town.
Yeah.
Too much attention drawn to it. I don't like the idea.
I have a question for you, VG, as the DM.
Yes.
Do these things have eyeballs?
They do, but they're not like eyeballs like what you like what humanoids you've seen or basically anything else. These are like these big like just voids. There's not like there's not like a gap or anything like that. There's like an eyeball there, but it's like pitch black. There's no pupil, nothing like that. It's just a pitch black like mass.
Okay. So, Talanith is going to carve one out, and he's just gonna kind of look at all the others, be like, and he's like, I'm taking this.
As you dig your I assume you're doing this with your dagger or
Yes.
or do you have some other tool? Okay. So you like dig your dagger in, you start to kind of carve out this eyeball, and as you do, the mouth goes slack, and you physically sort of hear a little bit of air escape from its neck. As you do, there's sort of like a gargle, and there's like a something shiny comes out of its mouth.
I'm gonna investigate a little bit closer to that and see what it is.
You kind of using your hand, you grab for this small thing, and you pick it up, and it's in sort of like a mess of blood and guts, and you wipe away what seems like the flesh and other viscera to reveal a small ring with a jewel inlaid in it.
I look at the others. I seem to have found something.
Sarahi looks over at you. What? May I see that?
Certainly. Talanith hands it over to Sarahi.
She takes it and with both hands kind of holds it in front of her. Her face becomes like pale white, like she's seen a ghost.
You seem to be concerned about this ring.
This can't be. This is my parents' wedding ring. No mistaking it.
That's a strange place for that.
She's kind of like mouths words, but nothing escapes it. There's not even tears at this point. Her face is just like flesh white. This doesn't mean they've been eaten. They couldn't have been eaten. I wouldn't remember them. I couldn't have been eaten. She's kind of like panicking. She starts to kind of shake, and it's clearly like signs of panic.
Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. This is my parents' wedding ring. It just came out of fucking that. She walks off.
All right.
Oh, there's
As she's walking off, I'm actually gonna reach to the our ring thing, and I'm gonna try to contact what's his name?
She still has it.
What's his name?
you'll have to
Godbury.
go after. You'll have to go after Sarahi for it.
She still has the ring.
No, not the wedding ring.
Oh.
Our communications ring.
Okay.
And I'm gonna reach out to what's his name? The youngest Godbury.
Darkul.
Darkul. Because he was the one who should be with the council.
That's right.
So I'm gonna reach out to Darkul.
Okay, what are you saying?
Any news from the council?
To be clear, you're asking about the council from the Institute of Thaumaturgy, or are you talking about the nobility?
I'm talking about the nobility, because that is where he was with them along with Sarahi's parents.
He responds, from the nobility? I haven't heard anything, no.
And then, what of Sarahi's parents? Have you heard any news from them?
Not since we left the castle. Why? Something up?
Potentially. We may have some problems.
What kind of problems?
Apparently, Sarahi just found her parents' wedding ring.
That was a bad pun. Or a good pun, I don't know.
Did Darkul say that, or did the DM?
The DM.
Yeah. That was a pun?
To be clear, we did not find her parents. We found her parents' ring.
That's why, yes.
Oh. At any rate, somebody ought to go after her. It's still dangerous down here.
Well, I'm probably the best suited for that, so I will continue after her.
Sorry, are we not all going after her? Shouldn't we get out of here?
That's a good point.
No, they're also still trying to figure out how to transport one of these skulls.
Oh, let me see.
I will go after Sarahi. You lot decide what to do with this, and I'll meet you back at the What Ails Ya Tavern. Sound good?
Tess still thinks that Ian Fair is probably best choice for that. Perhaps Ian Fair should go with you.
Ian Fear?
I think we've got the history, so I would probably be the best bet to try to calm her down.
Then let us off. Balphalin, and you begin to walk down the other direction. Meanwhile, let's talk about what you other peeps are doing.
Well, we can always figure out what to do with the head once we get it out of the cave, but I think we should leave this cave as soon as possible. This place gives me the creeps.
Sooner the better, I'd say.
I can turn into something big to carry it for now, but once we get out, we can figure out the best course of action.
Perhaps making it invisible on top of Yolanthe so that it is not noticeable by the townspeople and cause a panic.
That sounds like a sensible precaution.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could whip something up here. yes, just sort of goes through some of his belongings. Oh,
Sorry, real quick. How big is the head again?
I'd say it's sort of variable size at the end, but while it was alive, so like the neck is about 3 feet in diameter. We're gonna say there's probably like a 4 or 5 foot section of it, as well as the head, which is probably makes up about 2 feet of that, or well, no, not 2 feet, maybe like a foot of that.
Okay, I guess the better question would be how heavy is it?
Pretty damn.
Like, is
heavy.
it horse heavy, bear heavy, cave bear heavy?
It's like, I mean,
To be fair,
it'd be
each of
as
these
heavy
heads
as a
were
very
smaller than
large.
humans, so-
Yeah, it'd be as heavy as a very large dog, or
Okay, gotcha. Yolanthe goes ahead and goes down on one knee with her amulet touched to her, or just grabbing her amulet and just, what should I turn into? What do we have? Does it have to be from the list, or can it be an animal?
any animal you've seen.
Okay, she turns into a ox.
Okay. Let's see.
I do not know what noise oxes make, so I'm just going to moo.
Moo.
You can Google Translate for ox if you need to.
You know, I was worried for a minute, but then
Well- oh yeah, let me.
You ought to have known better.
there we go.
That was a fun.
Weep. Euloxy. Or
That's
Oxlanthe.
pretty perfect.
As far as the way out goes, why not just take the tunnel it dragged me through? And points in this direction.
Sounds good. Let us get this thing on top of Yolanthe.
I do not have a token. Oh wait, it's just invisible.
It's invisible. You might need to refresh. You absolutely have a token.
Okay, yeah,
It's-
I was like, I just moved something, so
Quite large.
Lord.
This big.
It does not have a good picture, but, you know, we can't win every single battle. So, my question to you is, how are you going to affix this thing to the top of the Oxlanthe?
Well, get it up there, covered in probably a cloth or something, so it just looks like we're transporting goods, and then tie it down with rope around the ox.
That would work, yeah?
But first, we gotta lift the thing up and get it on top of Yolanthe.
Did somebody say lift? I don't do a good rack.
Sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, I can at
Wasn't
least help
bad.
with that.
Pretty sure the team lift will help out a lot here.
The two of them lift it up and kind of start carrying it over. So you have it in position at this point.
So is it up on her back?
Yes, it's up on her back.
Okay. Well, Tess will offer up her cape to try and cover it up and like kind of tuck it around the beast's head. So it just looks like Just like a cape with something under it.
Bagram reaches over. Okay, hand me the rope.
Tess will offer her rope.
Grabs the rope, tosses one side to Rek, who helps him sort of tie everything down. Once the two of them are
The game will
satisfied that
not
it's
let me
secured.
back in.
Oh no.
Oh, poo. Well, we're about to cut to a different scene anyway, so we should be
Okay.
We'll get there.
theater of the mind.
Keep trying to refresh, and hopefully you can get in. With everything tied down, Tess is going to check in with Yolanthe. Yo, what did you say?
Yoloxy.
Yoloxy.
Yoloxy. Yoloxy.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
It does. Is that too tight? Are you comfortable?
No.
Tess will take that as a yes. Bagram, if you would not mind leading the way. Tess will hang back just to watch our backs and make sure we are okay.
Did you just ask Bagram to lead the way?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it's right this way. Brett kind of walks close to him. He leads you into a kind of smaller room. He just kind of drag everybody over. Wait, not the. These can stay. These are like in your inventory. We just kind of push them aside. Do not mind the moving heads. Everybody's in transit. You walk into what appears to be a storeroom that has a hole in the lower corner here. There's a blood stain on the stairs leading up, which seem to go into some kind of larger, some kind of structure. Drag me through here. I didn't know what it was at first.
Yeah, you are not the only one. The town had been suffering for a while, it seems.
Well, let's get back. Yestus climbs up the stairs. Bagram follows shortly after. Is everybody else climbing the stairs?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yolanthe, you are able
Otherwise,
to
this was a really stupid plan.
you are able to make it up. Although you do take up quite a bit of space as your token.
Yeah,
Is
okay, that's what
concerned.
I was wondering. I was like, I hope I can climb upstairs because otherwise
Yeah.
this does not work at all.
You're not shaped like a box. You're shaped more like a
Ox.
rectangle.
Ox.
A box.
And it rocks.
Socks.
In fear.
I'm just imagining the feeling of that jelly-like substance of the things like on the hairs in the back of that oxen. Yolanthe.
I assume that somebody put their cloak or something down as a barrier.
Doesn't.
Or
Yeah, imagine wearing a shawl over your hair.
just a big old goo boy on my back. Great day.
In fear. You and Val moving through the other section of cave quickly come upon Sarahi, who's sort of poised up against the wall, staring at this ring.
Yeah, sorry. Those guys were still down there. Did anybody tell them we were heading up the stairs?
I think that was
Val
kind
told
of...
us. Val told us to meet at What Ails Ya Tavern. So we're heading out to get the skull. I'm assuming shown off,
Gotcha. Okay.
and then or we meet at What Ails Ya Tavern and then head out together.
So, Ian Fear, you and Val come upon Sarahi, who is sort of poised up against the wall, one hand on the wall, staring at this ring in her other hand. And at this point, her face is flush red, tears just streaming down her face. How does that make Ianfir feel?
I'm slowly kind of say, I know this is tough, but we only have the object. We don't know what's happened to your parents, so we can't assume the worst just yet.
I'm inclined to agree. We don't have any hard evidence that your parents are. Well, we have no evidence of your parents' fate. Let us go confirm ourselves. She, sniffles. You're right, of course. Let's... allow me a moment to compose myself, and then we'll continue on, yes?
Right.
She, pulls a handkerchief out from her pockets. She has pockets. Did I mention she has pockets? She dries her
I mean,
tears.
can't be a real female then,
She
because female clothes never come with pockets. So
she dries her face, and then let's go get to the bottom of this. Val sort of gestures like after you.
yeah, I'm gonna follow along right behind Sarahi.
The three of you make your way back through the tunnel the way that you came, and emerge in the market district at the smithy, I believe, is where you originally went down. Heading back to the rest of you. A moment, please. You get some. So what you come back to, as you, sorry. So you emerge in the bottom floor of the potion shop, if you recall. I just sit here and remember what this was. I'm like, man, we haven't done the market district in so long. You emerge in the potion shop, what was once, as you recall, run by this old man. Later on, there was, or after the False Hydra, due to the False Hydra, is now left vacant. Where there was once smoke in the air and the smell of incense, now has just the few vague remnants of smells coming from various places. Hess, having been your first time seeing the False Hydra in this building, you find yourself a little bit reflective about the horrors that you've just seen. Get some good music here. From outside, you hear the faint bustle of the townsfolk who were just kind of getting involved in their daily routines. Otherwise, your environs are quiet. It's as though there was this ambient but constant noise, and it's now completely muffed out. You can no longer hear it at all. It's like something is almost missing, but you know that it's missing in a good way, so to speak.
Tess is gonna take a deep breath, almost like a sigh of relief. Well, we did say we were going to meet at What Ails Ya Tavern. And we do not want to do this without the Infear, so perhaps we should head there.
To the tavern, then.
To the tavern.
Well, you all had previously set me on my way. I suppose I'll be leaving you then. Thanks for the save.
Stay safe, Bagram. Perhaps we will see you around somewhere. Don't be a stranger.
I'm sure I won't. Stay safe. And he proceeds to leave.
Thank you, bestie.
Making your way through the market district. You are approached. Well, you see a small, I don't want to call them a caravan because it's not a caravan, but it's like it's an envoy. It's like a political envoy of the nobility walking through the center of town toward the castle. As they see you walking through the center of town yourselves, on your way to What Ails You, one of them stops you. You there. You're the heroes of Bunavar.
Ooh, Naver.
What the fuck?
Here is a moon over.
I take it by the silence.
Oh, yes, that we are. Sorry, Tess was a little distracted.
I take it by the silence that you have already felled the beast.
Perhaps.
What's in the bag?
My mother's skull. Do you want to meet her?
I doubt that thing is your mother's skull. He points up at the, at on top of the Yolanthi's back. Now, we don't want any trouble.
That is not the bag, but
He, the noble, you misunderstand. You're not under arrest. There's nothing wrong.
Tess does not think we are under arrest. You are just confusing Tess because you are referring to the cape as a bag, and it is not a bag. You said what is in the bag. Tess told you what was in the bag, and misunderstanding.
I love Tess so much.
All I have to say is that you acted recklessly. We had the situation in hand.
No, Wreck is right there.
Well, be that as it may, without the order instated by the Schapeben officials, there would be civil chaos. You're not under arrest. The city thanks you for your service, but we'll be watching you as we do our best to rebuild.
No, that is fair.
Please,
And you are very welcome.
when the nobility asks you not to intervene, I'd advise you not to intervene.
And when the nobility notices that their population is dropping very fast, perhaps nobility should act a little faster, do you not think?
I told you before that you're not under arrest, and if you don't want to be under arrest, good day.
Good day.
He turns around and walks off. Yeesh. Think these folks would be grateful. Never quite got along with the political types myself.
The nobility cares very much for their nobility. Tess is proud of what we did. We saved a lot of lives. Unfortunately, Tess wishes we could have gotten here a little faster and figured things out quicker. Those poor people.
I agree. You can't win every battle, though. I've seen a lot of cases that went real south before we figured them out. And, Oh. What's up?
I do have a question, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but people, can they see the big holes with, like, all the blood splattered around them?
They can now.
Like, we're gonna probably have to unpack that later.
We never actually lifted up the cape. Isn't it still invisible under the...
Did you guys cast an invisibility spell on it?
Didn't Yes just say he was whipping something?
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, we could say you did that. I mean, you never lifted up the cape in the first place. Like,
Yeah, okay.
they just assumed.
Yeah, so the people around us, like the townspeople, are not seeing the thing on the ox's back.
No.
Okay.
Well, they don't seem to be anyway. Nobody's panicking. You don't see anybody like, wow, a weird
Yeah.
head on top of an ox.
Well, to the tavern.
Having so much trouble with these scenes today. Moment.
There is a lot of mooing.
I was about to say, that's a lot of pissy sounding cows.
They're pissed at you. They're looking at you when they do it.
Yeah.
Rude bitches.
I'm going to keep us on the landing page for now. Because you all arrive at the tavern. The door stands shut. And you suddenly realize we don't really have a way to get Yolanthe in here. And when we do, what are we doing with the head?
We're not gonna just hang out at the tavern. We're here to meet, and then I'm
Yeah, I
assuming
had
we're gonna
assumed
take
there
the
was,
head
like-
to nobility. Like, this is just the meetup spot.
Yeah, I had assumed there was like a stable or something that Yolanthe could just kind of chill in.
Yeah, we're just gonna like stand out front, like wait for Val, Sarahi, and Ian here because he said we'll meet at the tavern.
Ah. Okay, so you're just going to stand out front and wait for them?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say before long, the two of them, or the three of them, walk up.
We did try to get a move on.
Moo, 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 moo.
Bow.
Was that a pun? It was quite funny.
Almost punny.
That was a horse.
That horse was like, yeah.
Yolanthe, you seem to be pissing off all the animals.
Mm.
They do seem...
Speaking of pissed, we ran into a nobility liaison who had quite the stick up his butt.
I mean, that
but
does
said that,
seem to match with nobility.
did say that we were not under arrest, but they would be keeping their eyes on us. So those with sticky hands,
I personally
watch out.
like the not under arrest part. That's my favorite part of that whole thought that you conveyed.
He did say that he was thankful but that we should not have acted without nobility, etc. Also, it does not seem to know the difference between a cape and a bag. Either way, we should probably get this skull in so that we can be done with this and get everything wrapped up.
Yeah, can't identify things on site. That definitely sounds like nobility.
Where are we taking it?
Well, I think the Institute first and foremost for magic, because they would be able to at least have the proof at first, and we have the scientific data afterwards. But the we will have to deal with the rest of the nobility.
That's definitely on the docket, but I'm inclined to agree. Let's go to the Institute first. We can make sense of everything there, and then we'll head to the castle after that.
I mean, plus remembering this map right, it makes more sense traveling-wise to go to the Institute first.
And then travel, rather than travel a longer distance to deal with the council, and then travel halfway back in order to go to the Institute.
Oh yeah, you'd be correct. That's the Institute is much closer. You all, I'm assuming everybody in tow is going to head over that way.
Yes, I am. Tlaneth is.
Just before you... No. So you all head out toward the Institute of Thaumaturgy. As soon as you arrive there, you're greeted by Professor Chorum. Let me show his picture one more time here. Professor Chorum Torzalan. Not terribly fond of the limited number of outfits that they give these characters on DM Heroes. That's the picture. He's pacing. He appears to be worried. As soon as he locks eyes with any one of you, he hurries over and in sort of hushed tones, "Oh, you're back. I'm grateful you're safe. Hurry, let's get to the council chamber. We should speak in private."
Okay.
You all accompany him to the well, unless there's any objections. Any objections to following him? You all accompany Professor Torzalan to the council chamber. And as soon as you're through the threshold, he shuts the door tight. There's only a couple of other council members in there. Nobody that you, Ian Fear, recognize, but Professor Torzalan. Ooh, the nobility is hopping mad. They've sent several people over here. I don't like dealing with the political types, you understand, but I understand the necessity given my title. Did you kill it?
Well, as far as we can tell, we've at least brought back some heads.
Heads.
And an eyeball.
And an eyeball.
And some of its flesh in the vial.
His face,
Tlaneth holds out the black eye.
his face sort of lights up. He looks over, glancing at the other members of the council that are present in the chamber. This is an excellent research opportunity. Thank you so much for bringing it here first. No doubt the nobility would confiscate such things and keep them away from studious types, but research is important, first and foremost. We don't learn anything unless we study it and encounter it.
Do you want to see the head?
Yes. He like childishly, for an old man, he like bends down. Yes, I do.
Well, let's unveil the head so that he can take a look.
He gestures at the other two. They kind of come over and they're peeking at the cape. So you're gonna just unveil. I don't know if it actually works that way.
Tess is going to untie the rope first. And on the opposite side from where everyone's standing, Tess is just going to push the cape and the head off of Yolanthe so it like thuds on the floor.
Yeah, it lands
I
on the
don't know if
floor.
it would be
Oh, go
like
ahead.
a thud. I was gonna say it probably sounds more like a.
Yeah, it's like a splat.
It's like,
Maybe get a little bit of Yoloxy. You.
Now, as soon as the thing gets off of her, she shakes her head and starts shaking back into her usual form and brushing off goo.
Shaky, shaky, shaky.
Ugh. Did you hear what that one cow bitch said about my fur? Ugh.
Tess heard several moos and the neigh.
Yeah, the cows here are all mean girls.
Well, forget the naysayers.
Pundy.
Yolanthe shoots Val a dirty look.
I tried.
It's like I expect that from Ian Fear, not from you.
I'd see myself out, but the door is shut. This is
Talanith just face palms.
Oh, this is quite a good specimen, in fact. Chorum is sort of like really close to it, and he's like eyeing it and just looking it up and down, not touching it, never touching it. We're going to need some people to move this in secret. How could we do that? Oh, he's sort of thinking to himself, how could we move this secretly without anyone noticing? Well, having said that, thank you so much for bringing it here. On the note of the nobility, they're very upset, you understand. I'm afraid we can't openly defy the nobility. But, personally, I stand by my choices. I, may be removed from the council for this.
As long as you have the ability to sleep at night, along with the rest of the people that Schapeben here.
I did what I thought was best for Schapeben, as did we all.
As I myself have learned sometimes, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Well stated. In fear, I severely underestimated you. Well, what will you do now?
Well, we still have many unanswered questions. Myself personally, I'm still looking out for my mother who has been missing. Sarahi has some questions she has to answer. We have broader questions about our own issues, how we had to solve the issue with the Hydra. And then there's the bigger issue with the goings on overseas.
Yes.
Not to mention the mirror itself and the issues going on with that. We have so many questions.
You'll be happy to know we've kept the mirror safe from the nobility. Or any prying eyes, for that matter. I assume you've kept it secret yourselves?
Well, considering the circumstances of finding it, it certainly would not be beneficial to let many people know about it.
Definitely here in Schapeben. My love for the city aside, it'd be best if we kept such things under wraps. At least for the time being, till we know more. As for the goings-on overseas, it wasn't my decision that any magical teleportation or travel otherwise be restricted. That's also on the nobility. It may come as a surprise. But know that we are still trying to discern some way to remove this curse, plague, whatever you want to call it. We're still not even sure. We only have very few samples, you understand. Not a whole lot of way to get it over here. With that, I'd like to go ahead and cut to intermission. Let me reset the timer. We will be right back. And we're back, and right in the nick of time, too. Just as the song ended. I like that. Okay. So, we're back. You guys are still in the council chamber speaking to Torsalon. And two of the other, well, council members, researchers. Torm is still leaned over this head, and he's investigating it. He kind of pores over it for a few moments. Then he looks thoughtful. How did you defeat such a monster?
Well, a few things to note about it. First of all, it seemed that it could grow its heads fairly quickly. Oh, excuse me.
You have angered the gods.
No, it's just the weather forecast for tomorrow.
See, all I angered was
You have
cows.
angered the weather forecast. The weather
But
forecast
anyway,
gods.
so, so it did generate heads fairly quickly. And it seemed, basically you can tell from its touch that it's not really, it doesn't really feel sort of corporeal to us until it's dead. Like, there's nothing really solidly feeling to it until after it's been disconnected from the body.
Vanquished.
But yes,
Balchazin.
yeah. But as to its defeat, we encountered an unusual scenario. I carry with me a mirror from our travels that was, well, to say cursed onto me.
Interesting.
In
Another
that-
cursed mirror?
In that whenever I would try to hand it off to someone or just let go of it, it would immediately reappear back into my pockets.
I've heard of such things in the greater world.
Well, it began interacting.
Hydra?
It began interacting during the fight, and sort of feeling a heartbeat But more importantly, there was a matching mirror held by Sarahi.
This one. She pulls it out.
So
He sort of looks over at it. Once again, never touching it, just observing it.
this leads me, of course, to the question to you, Sarahi. How did you get your mirror?
This? Well, my parents gave it to me, I think. Wait,
I don't remember seeing it with you.
how did I get this mirror? Well, I have it. I've always had it. Her voice trails off. I don't know. Not for sure. I'm confused. Torum cocks his eyebrow at you, well, at all of you. So, what did this have to do with the False Hydra?
Well, during the fight, when these began to beat, as we opened it up, it created a portal behind the Hydra. And it sucked the Hydra in.
Actually, the portal was there before you produced the mirror. Are you saying that you believe that the mirror caused the portal?
Well, I'm not entirely sure because I wasn't paying attention at the time, but the thing was active during the fight, and we did have the ability to control the portal with the mirror.
Yes, you told me to bring out my mirror and hold it, and so I did.
Yes, that was the instructions I received from our friend here, Yestus.
Just a hunch. Yeah, I'm glad it worked. I don't think we've officially met. I'm Yestus. I'm a private investigator. Yestus. That name rings a bell. Perchance your last name is Charm Silver? Oh, you've heard of me then. Not directly, but if, let's say I had a favorite student some time ago. Something we'll have to discuss later. Later indeed. He waves his finger. Now, back to the Hydra. So, you drew it into a portal? Or...
Oh, yes, we
But you did not
used...
open the portal itself.
I believe I remember the portal was open at the time. But we had the ability to control the portal with these mirrors.
I see. One moment here. I totally forgot about where.
That really scared me. I thought I lost
Same.
connection. It was like everything went silent.
I forgot to change the music.
I know. I was about to say, are there animals inside?
I had just assumed we were all gathered at the door just talking, but then I remembered you said we
Yeah,
went
you're
to
in the
the
council
private room.
chamber.
So
I just forgot
yeah.
to change the music because
they're all just like animals, but like wearing suits and
Yep.
robes and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. It was all Yaloxy. It was the whole time
Yeah, I'm just sitting in the background
it was
making
just
animal noises.
voices in your head.
Don't waste your time on me.
Right, so where did the portal come from? That we
Who
do
cares?
not
It's
know.
closed now.
But yes, it is closed. Portals sometimes have a tendency to reopen. Could you point me in the direction of one of these tunnels? I can send a team and make sure that there are no other magical disturbances.
They're really gross.
I'll instruct them not to touch anything.
Also, there's a bunch of other things down there, so try not to get eaten.
Not eaten, yes. Well, I won't be going myself, but I will instruct the team.
Basically, there is a hole in the nearby potion shop that you can take, and it'll lead you straight down a tunnel and into the big cavern where the portal was open.
A hole in the potion shop, you say?
Yes.
Oh. I think I understand.
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, I'll have a team sent down just to make sure that there's no residual magic or energy otherwise that might mean that the portal could reopen. That would be likely bad.
Bring earplugs just in case.
Oh, yes, of course. When do you intend on reporting to the nobility?
No, that would be up to Yenfir, Tess supposes.
Val turns to look
Suppose
over at
there's
Ian
not
Fear.
going to be any better time than the present, to be honest.
How do you intend to handle the backlash?
Probably by reminding them of the fact that much of the city has large bloody holes there that may not have been there, or would have been more numerous had we not acted.
Yenfir does have a special charm to him, one could say.
One that's got him in more trouble than not. He kind of chortles.
That's our Yenfir.
Well, as the standing councilman, head councilman, I'll be joining you going to the castle. So, whatever the repercussions, we'll face them together. I think that just about wraps up business here. Shall we off then?
How do you suppose we should transport this thing for proof?
He, Storm turns toward the other two council members, and he nods, and one of them, nods kind of understandingly and proceeds to walk out the door. We'll have a wagon arranged. It'll be
Cool.
outside momentarily. We'll,
Sounds good.
Would you not leave it here?
Well,
Well, do you
although
think
the
that
council has approached us, I would imagine that there will be attempts to deny things and control things from old Sparky Boy. So we're gonna probably need proof.
do you not think that perhaps this vial of its flesh and Chorum's account may help sway their belief in this thing?
You know,
Shorm's account will definitely make more of a presence than, unfortunately, what we come up with. Because let's be clear, I don't imagine that anything we bring without this head will be taken seriously.
Tess does think that leaving the head behind will definitely benefit the magical studies here.
Well, I mean, it is at least a good thing we have two of them.
there's another head.
Did we bring both back or just the one?
Just the one.
Tess only grabbed the one.
Well, I mean, in the cave where we fought it, there should be another one then. I mean, there was a number of heads that were fall down there, to be honest. So,
Well, in that case, I'll get a team out immediately. He turns to the other council member that's standing there and get a team. I want you to do this personally.
you'll want to move quickly, because the moment we start approaching towards the council, you know old Sparky's going to want to close off all the holes for security purposes. And he's going to use the air quotes finger gesture when he says that.
Oh, Sparky. Of whom do you speak?
Oh, you know, the security, the man in charge of security.
I don't think I know the man in charge of security. Do we have
Yolanthe leans over to Tess and whispers, I think he got eaten.
I would hope so. And he's gonna remember. He's gonna sort of like wiggle his ears as the elf thing, be like, remember, with the eyebrows. But he's gonna say, it's just someone from my past who's always been a thorn in my side, Sergeant Thorn, Stormrider.
Storm? Name doesn't ring a bell.
Well, it shouldn't, because he was very inconsequential during my times, because he always was tasked with trying to catch me, as it were. Never could. But it wasn't until he was the person who actually put me in the prison after we arrived where he could finally say he did.
Interesting. Well, shall we be off?
Tess is ready to get this over with.
Right. Let's proceed downstairs. The cart should be around soon. You all go down that flight of stairs in the the foyer, I guess, would be what you would call that in this case. I'm not sure if that's actually what you'd call it in the school. But the stairs kind of creep down, facing that big front door, and you walk outside, and right there is this cart. A group of these kind of stronger looking people have now taken that head down from the from up where you were and transported it down. They kind of flop it onto the cart. No questions asked. They walk off. They take their payment from Chorum.
Since her cape is already dirty, Tess is to cover again with her cape and then crawl up into the wagon.
You crawl up into the wagon. You notice that the wagon isn't being pulled by anything, it's just there.
Any plans for renting a horse or anything?
The Chorm kind of looked back at you. No need. And he
Don't look at me. I turned into a spider last episode. I'm out.
give me a second here. This'll work. No. I'm gonna find something really good to drop in here. No, let's go ahead and go with that. Okay. He pulls out a wand from within the folds of his robes, starts to do this, or he starts to perform this magical gesture, speaks a few words, and in the blink of an eye, you're immediately in the council, in the castle at the, like right outside.
Oh,
Not needed.
convenient.
Immediately, a guard approaches. More people from the Institute, no doubt. We've been expecting you. Please, inside. Men, and a few men kind of come down and pick up the end of the cart and haul it just inside the door. Leave it right there. As soon as you walk in, Ian Fear, Ian Fear and group, you're all met by a bunch of noble-looking people. Let me pull up some art here. Oh my goodness. These ones are kind of hard to find. Firstly, kind of toward the back of the group is this woman with extremely, like crazy-looking hair, like that.
Oh.
Ew.
All these people
yeah,
are.
Ew. Ew. Is it dripping? Is it dripping?
I think it is.
Looks like it's
It might
dripping.
be.
Oh no.
Gooey.
It does look like it's
How does
dripping.
she hold it up?
As well, there's a elven dude.
Elvin dude.
Generic
What's up,
elven
dude?
Dude.
That's what's his name who played the Joker?
Jared Leto?
Joaquin Phoenix.
No. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. That's
Okay.
Elvin the Joaquin Phoenix.
Bro, it totally is. Oh my god.
Ian Fear, you recognize the elven man. You don't know his name. You just
Yeah, Mr. Phoenix.
recognize him from somewhere.
Look at my chin. My chin is amazing.
Yeah, I did not make this art.
Don't
by
give
the
it a
way.
lick.
Not
That
anything I
chin
made.
looked like a butt. It's a butt chin.
So does her hair.
Her hair does too, yeah. I hope this is
I
not
mean,
AI.
just-
I don't think it is.
to be fair, like she is dripping wet, so
Well,
probably for that.
she's a
thought, too.
noble. They gotta have that drip, you know?
Who among you is Ian Fear, Jamalor?
That would be me.
Yes. Ian Fear. You and your little band. You've gone against the will of the nobility. And for that, there would typically be dire consequences. However, we do understand that what you have done was in the best interest of Schapeben City. And for that, we thank you. Now, I see that you deliver to us the evidence of the kill. May we see it?
Take a look for yourself.
Careful, it may bite you.
Guards? And one of the guards walks over, kind of pulls up the cape to see underneath, and it shows the kind of that nasty, like almost translucent, kind of film covered figure of this fleshy creature, and he unmasks the face with the deep void like black dripping eyes.
Almost as disturbing as bird fingers, huh?
Doesn't seem to be a fake.
Drippy hair is looking at it like, oh, my new fashion icon.
Speaking of bird fingers, Tess, roll a perception check.
Wow.
I
I like no part of this.
Speaking of bird fingers.
Speaking of abominations,
Tess, glancing up at the tall elf as he passes by to take a closer look at this head of the false Hydra, you see it, you catch him peer down at Scriteau and just kind of sneer.
And she gives him the stink eye.
He doesn't acknowledge you. He just continues to walk over to the over toward the cart. It doesn't appear to be a facsimile. Well, take it away. And they the guards pick the end of the cart up and they start to haul it down the down the hallway.
Tess reaches out to grab her cape first to get it off of the monster's head. Tess will be needing this, thank you.
Now,
Infir will do a quick snap of his fingers to use the prestidigitation in order to cling the cape and be. We must keep up appearances after all, as he gives a raised eyebrow to the noble.
now, Professor Torzalan, you are to be dealt with separately. We would see you in privacy. Storm kind of looks back at you lot. Very well.
What does this need to be done privately?
That's none of your business. Now, please, off with you.
No, Tess does not quite feel comfortable leaving our friend here alone in a private room with you. What are you going to do? We saved your entire town. The least you can do is be honest.
Go ahead and roll a or not a perception. Go ahead and roll a
Persuasion?
persuasion. Thank you.
What is that?
19. Very nice.
Neat.
Very well. We intend to question Professor Torzalan about his involvement in these with the fight with this false Hydra. He sort of makes a gesture, sort of like in air quotes. That's all.
That sounds ridiculous. The professor was not even there during the battle.
We know that the Institute was involved in some way. Just like we know about the mirror. You all very surprised to know that the nobility now knows about the mirror. How does that make you all feel?
I mean, Ian Fear is going to sort of like play it cool in terms like, mirror, you'll have to be specific because there are a lot of mirrors in this kingdom.
Well, I would like to be specific, save for the fact that the Institute has been hiding it from us.
Yolanthe kind of sidesteps over a little bit towards Talanith and next to him, and then kind of like leans over and kind of whispers something into his ear.
Let me be clear. He smiles. Unless you would like to share a cell with the professor, you should leave now.
Talanith narrows his eyes at him.
Oh, don't be petty. You're going to force the issue.
The professor did nothing wrong.
He's not under arrest. We're simply going to ask him a few questions about the Institute's involvement and find out more about the mirror. It's okay. I'll be okay. You should do as he asks. We don't need a scene.
Talanith just turns around and walks away.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yolanthe shrugs at Tess and goes to follow Talanith.
Ian Fear is going to put a hand on Tess's shoulder and say, "We did deal with a similar situation previously with when we were leaving on our way here, and we did eventually resolve that situation. Unfortunately, our ways are not their ways," as he says pointedly towards the noble.
Ah, well. Tess trusts you. But if anything happens to the professor, you will hear from me again. And she'll turn around to leave in a huff.
You all exit the castle, leaving Professor Torzalan behind. Nobles. I never got used to their lot.
Yeah,
You know what?
unfortunately, they have to be the ones showing strength all the time. And unfortunately, we have to be the ones to be stepped on according to them.
Talanith looks at everyone and says, it's too bad we don't have anyone sneaky here.
Oops, oh my, how did that get there?
Whoa.
Sorry.
How did that get there?
How did
How did that get there?
How did that get there?
Wow, that was very timely.
It's Spherlanthe.
Adolanthe.
Oh no.
Of course, he's being facetious.
I know. I was too, and out of
If
character.
only we had anyone sneaky enough, and you all like push Val forward.
Rex like, you talked me into it.
Or, of course, Ian Fear could also be like, I'm sure they might know Ian Fear, but I wonder how much they might recognize my other selves.
I do have an opinion here. Something I need to check on, if you would please indulge me, says Sarahi.
Well, the Hydra is dealt with, so we do have other issues. So let's help you out.
Thank you. If we could please stop by my family home. No argument here.
Agreed.
Tess is right behind you.
Let's find this out. You all leave through the center of town, and well, actually, no, it wouldn't be through the center of town. It would be kind of close to the close by the castle. Sorry, one moment here. Trying to dig up music in this infrastructure that I have built is not easy, sadly. You come upon her family home. Everything appears normal. Lights are there's lights coming from the window. Seems like someone's home.
That's definitely odd, especially. We'll I mean, we'll slowly come up to the front door, and then we'll do the. I'm gonna test. Is it locked?
No. No, it's not.
Then, calling back to a previous episode, I'm gonna do that thing where I'm knocking on the door as I'm opening it while I say hello.
Because that is not intrusive.
You open
Absolutely not at all, especially when it's not my home.
You open the door slowly, as if you're trying to kind of put off, and I'm not actually trying to bug you guys, but and as you do, there's like talking that you can hear that is immediately hushed, and as you continue to open up the door, you see both of Sarahi's parents staring back at you, surprised to see you in their home. Ian Fear, were you raised in a barn? Seriously, who does that?
It's something that I picked up from my family. So
I am so glad to see that you're safe. And they both rush over to Sarahi, and Sarahi is just like tears.
As they do, I'm gonna look closely at both their hands.
Both of their hands?
Yeah, because she's supposed to be holding their wedding ring.
They both are wearing wedding rings. Identical to the one that you found, as a matter of fact.
Are we inspecting for bird fingers?
Can never be too careful.
You found some. They're traveling with you. Scrito kind of looks down at his fingers. They hate me for my fingers. He doesn't talk, though.
Anyway,
No, see, Yolanthe likes Scrito and knows that there's races of bird people and that they exist, and it's perfectly normal and natural.
Nope,
Acid.
He gives you
however.
head pats.
Yeah,
with
that's
this bird.
fine. That's not. All right, moving on.
As you were saying, Ian Fear.
Well, yeah. So as they greet each other, we'll say we just came back from the council. We had to present evidence.
Yes, they weren't happy with you. I'm glad to see that you're not under arrest, though, and mostly that our daughter is safe. Thank you for that.
We did have an interesting encounter during that time, though, and it led me to a question that Sarahi didn't have answers for.
Yes.
Have you ever seen Sarahi with a hand mirror similar to this as he pulls out his own?
No. Sarahi not even seeming to pay attention, like, before her mom pulls out this ring. I was so worried. We found this ring. And I thought the worst had befallen us. And she, like, her mom, like, puts her hand up and they, like, start to compare the two. They're identical. And her mom immediately, like, takes off her own ring, puts it back on, and then grabs the other ring. At this point, her dad becomes, like, really invested in what's going on and walks over, and she's like, look. His eyes widen, his face turns white. Where did you say you found this?
During the fight with the Hydra. Afterwards, it came out of it, one of the heads. Is it a common ring that you two have? I wouldn't think so.
His, the mom and dad, like, turn to each other. Both of their faces, like, chalky white. The dad takes both rings into his hand, removing his wife's ring, and presents it to you, Ian Fear. Look. And he points, like, toward the band, like, on the inside, just underneath the rock. You kind of lean over, looking closely at what he's pointing at, and on the inside of each of these rings, there's, like, a little engraved... It's a little flower that's engraved, and it says, "To my love, my light." But both of them have it. It is 100% identical. How can this be?
This has me deeply concerned.
Ian Fear? What are you thinking? What's going on?
When we were traveling, the mirror that we brought with us, the large mirror, was something of a gateway. But when we traveled through it, one thing I did neglected to mention is we had an encounter with versions of ourselves.
Go on.
I'm thinking it possible that perhaps this Hydra somehow made contact with another version of Schapeben besides this one.
Another version? How? How could that be?
If Portal was already there when we arrived, that means it came potentially from that location.
What, you mean it sent it to us and then we just sent it back?
That's what's been wandering through my mind recently.
Interesting.
So then wait, if that came from another version of the city and it had the wedding ring that you have, it ate another version of Sarahi's parents?
Or
Or
most likely something along those lines. But what's more concerning to me is that it means that maybe we didn't arrive back in our Schapeben. Or my Schapeben.
You think somehow we wound up on a different plane other than our own?
That could explain why Sarahi is here when
Whoa.
Yenfir thought that she should not be.
I don't think I understand. We clearly marked the mirror when we came back through. Do you think that that's when the mix-up occurred?
There is a possibility the other team also marked their mirror in a similar way, and we may have gotten confused.
Yolanthe's kind of looking at Sarahi with her eyes narrowed a little bit and her head kind of tilted slightly.
I didn't think about the other versions of ourselves. That is a good point. Who's to say that we didn't choose a mirror similarly marked by the other party? It's not, I think there's a chance you could be right. But it's just hearsay. We don't have any proof.
Yes, unfortunately, there's nothing that really is definitive at the moment. And we still have more questions with everything that's going on.
Agreed. This is a lot to ponder. For now, I am grateful to see that the two of you are safe. Sarahi, I hope that this puts your mind at ease. She nods silently. I vote that we go back to the What Ails Ya Tavern. Take a while to reflect upon this. Have a meal. I have a lot on my mind as well. What say you?
Tess could definitely use a drink or two. Maybe 3.
3. 3 sounds good. Is everyone on board? Is everyone wanting to go back to What Ails You at this point?
Yeah.
Alanis follows.
Agreed.
All right. Whoops, I am still on the wrong screen. Why does it feel like I'm having to get used to this whole interface again? This is weird. This is very weird. Let me get some scene setup working. It's giving me trouble. As always, it's giving me trouble. Right. Dalancia, are you still an ox?
No, I turned away from being an ox as soon as the head was off my back.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
I've
now.
been an Elgin
Good.
ever since. I can't change it into anything else until we rest.
Okay.
Could
It's still-
imagine
Okay, sorry. go ahead.
Oxlanthe just. I could imagine just Oxyolanthe just busting into the bar through the front door.
She probably would if nobody else stopped her.
Move. Move. There we go. You all walk into the front door of the What Ails Ya Tavern. As soon as you do, Darkhool and Kolvar turn to you. Yo! Hey, you're back. How'd it go?
Well, it was definitely an adventure, but we are glad to see that you're safe.
Yeah, it's safe. Yeah, don't mind the cart outside. They're fixing the hole. He kind of gestures toward the room. Yep, can see that now. That I don't know how I avoided stepping in that, to be honest. Anywho, how are you? Whoops, I grabbed the wrong token. Rek just kind of like takes off. Nope. Eepy. What do you have? I get you a drink? And why the long faces?
Well, we
That
dealt
was
with
just,
nobility for one thing.
That and there's a lot to process with everything that has happened. In the meantime, 3 frosty ones, please.
3. Okay, coming right up. He gets to work immediately. Anything else?
Yes, we need to deal with the sorrows of having to deal with nobility. So probably I would also accept 3 as myself.
3, indeed. All kind of looking thoughtful, eyes shifting.
You kind of you'll hear a little bit of a whisper. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
And what about your friend in the back there? Laneth, right? I think I heard that name before.
Talanith looks up and says, 1 beer.
Hey, one
One.
beer.
One for me as well, please. And Yolanthe's looking across the bar at Sarahi again.
Sarahi is kind of staring down at the bar blankly. She looks like her eyes kind of scan about the top of the bar. Occasionally, it looks like she's lost in thought, probably trying to process everything that just happened. She looks relieved. Her face is no longer like flush, and but her eyes do still betray that she's been crying.
Yeah, she's just kind of casually, slowly sipping her beer, kind of every now and then looking at the others or around the room, but mostly just kind of like keeping her either looking at right at her or in the corner of her eye.
Trixie comes over, steps behind the bar, and Kolvar, beer in hand, walks over to Talanith, who's still standing near the door, probably leaning up against a wall if I had to wager a guess. As he hands you your beer, Talanith, he leans in. You, did I hear you were looking for a man named Shradid?
Alanith's eyes widen, and he looks seriously, dead seriously, at this person, and says, "What do you know?"
Nothing myself. But I might know a guy who can get you some information.
And what entails as payment for this information?
Payment to me?
I assume there should be.
No, not for me. You, your friends, you've done enough. But I could point you in the direction, but I need you to keep it, well, a secret.
All right then. Who is your contact?
Not here. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take a little bit longer closing the bar tonight. Why don't you come back after hours? Once everybody's, nice and asleep like.
So be it.
See you then. And, he looks up.
Talanith goes back.
Oh, God.
Talanith goes back to smoking his pipe and people watching.
Kovar steps back over to the bar, walks behind, and starts to whip up some drinks. Anything I can get you to eat.
Talanith keeps people watching. He doesn't answer.
What does the special for today, if you have one?
Special? All right. So you can't tell the guys at the alchemist shop about this one. Not alchemist shop, but you can't tell this. Talk about this to the magic shop guys, okay? Beholder stew. Don't ask where we got it.
That sounds exotic. Guess we'll give it a try.
Exotic it is, my friends.
You do be holding stew, huh?
He nods at Trixie, and Trixie runs back to the kitchen. Before we serve you, there is one other thing I'd like to talk over with you, and trust me, my friends, this is my least favorite part of the job. It's been a week. Your time rent in the West Wing is, well, you're coming up due for payment. And as I recall, and in the contract that I gave you, 200 gold, if you please.
Oh, absolutely. I think Tess was holding on to that. I don't remember where it is in the bag. But she hands over the 200 gold.
Okay, I see it here. I'm going to go ahead and modify your gold. So that would be, you have 2,961. That's going to be 2,761. Thank you so much. As you know, this is how we stay in business.
We appreciate your hospitality.
I'm glad. And as always, if the rooms for any reason are not up to your liking, just let us know. We'll try to take care of any problems. He's all smiles. I do have one other thing to ask, though. So, I seem to have misplaced a couple of pictures. I don't really remember who they're of. Yeah, but they had some sentimental value to me. Do you all happen to know what happened to them?
Oh, Tess does have them. Sorry about that, Fred. She'll pull them out of her bag. Tess wanted to hold on to them just in case something happened to you. She wanted to be able to remember you and your partner.
He kind of cocks an eyebrow at you. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check, if you please. Unless you're trying to be deceptive, in which case you can roll a deception check.
Deception.
Disgrace.
Yolanthe cast Pass Without Trace. It rhymed, I don't know. 24. That's really sweet of you. He takes the pictures back and looks at him for a second and then just kind of tucks them underneath the bar. Thanks. At any rate, glad you all are safe, and I hope you enjoy your meal. Trixie comes back out, starts delivering bowls to each of you. They're all on this big platter that she's like carrying out. Sets a bowl down in front of each of you. Behold a stew for each of you. Everything rhymes today. Trixie comes over to you, Ian Fear, sets down that bowl of stew. Here you go, sweetie.
Looks nice and meaty.
And that's our stream. We're going to go ahead and take a 15-minute break, and when we come back, we will conclude this episode. We'll be back. I'm also going to run a long ad, so yeah. We are back, everybody. Now, when we left off, you were all just digging into your beholder stew. As a PSA,
And now I behold this food.
no beholders were harmed in the making of this film. Ian Fear,
Now,
as
in the
you,
making of the original Dungeons and Dragons film, there was
Plenty.
definitely some beholders that were.
plenty of
harmed.
beholders were harmed during the making of that film, but not this one. We are beholder friendly. If you yourself are a beholder, you may be entitled to a dispensation.
You may be entitled to prestidigitation.
You may be entitled to prestidigitation. Suddenly, Anchor runs up from one of the back areas where he was presumably sleeping. Runs directly up to Sarahi, and just tail wagging, tongue waggling. She kind of looks down. Still a lot of worry in her eyes, but then cracks a smile and gives him
How
a
can you
pat.
stay sad when looking at the big old happy eyes of a puppy dog?
She starts petting him, and it's like you just visually kind of watch all of this stress just melt off of her, and she starts giving him pats. And he's just like, oh boy. Best day ever. Well, pissed off the nobility, you say? That, sounds about right. They're usually pretty pissed off, you know? I take it you killed it. Whatever it was. Yeah?
Definitely dealt with it. Killed I can't say for certain.
What, you mean that thing's still running around out there?
Not here.
Not here. I don't know what you mean.
Let's just say we don't have to worry about it.
I'll take your word for it. As far as the castle's concerned, I got nothing I can do on that front, I'm afraid. Just a liaison from Godberry. It would take somebody of a lot higher political standing than me to be able to talk to those guys. Not to mention, nobility here. It's really hush-hush compared to what I'm used to overseas. I don't know how you guys deal with it, but I mean, don't everybody stare at me or nothing like that. No, it's okay, friend. I too am. Well, actually, when I came to your neck of the woods, as it were, I found myself quite surprised at how you all learned things. But that is neither here nor there. What comes next? Well, the city rebuilds. They're already kind of working on that. I heard someone say that there's a bit of a an opening, job opening, occurring in the market district right now. Y'all knew anything about that?
Tess would imagine that a lot of job openings may be around.
That's another good point. Gestus says, looking up from his whiskey. There's a lot of cleaning up to do, and there's likely a lot more missing people that nobody even knew exists. Could be a lot of work for a guy like me. Huh. You know, for the first time ever, I don't know if I'm up for it. Not my kind of mystery. Anywho.
Where did you live before here?
Before here? Nowhere. I grew up here, actually. I simply travel around.
Oh.
It was a long time ago, though.
So you don't have anywhere to go back to then?
I figured I'd stay on the road, do my job. But if you're asking about a place to live, sure. I have a little place down south. Don't stay there much, but yeah, it's got a bed, walls, roof, whiskey.
Well, if you're gonna stay on the road anyway, you might as well stay traveling with us wherever we go. Wherever that is. And she kind of looks over at Tess and...
Yeah, the more the merrier, Tess always says.
I'd have to think that over.
Yeah.
You really
get
think
it.
you'd have a need for an investigator then?
We do always run into a lot of mysteries.
Indeed. I can think of several occasions where an investigator would have been handy.
Plus, this entire adventure alone also, you helped out a lot. Tess does not think that we would have gotten things done nearly as quickly without your help.
Oh, you give me too much credit.
Credit where it's due.
But this might take you up on that. Let me sleep on it.
As far as our next steps, though, Tess is not quite sure. We still don't know exactly where Ianthir's mother disappeared to. There's also somebody that we need to locate and deal with at some point.
All signs for that pointed to the castle. It seems like we're not exactly welcome there. Yes. Castle. And Healthiest is supposed to be there too. Don't like the sound of this.
As far as we know, that is also where Ianthir's mother is. She was last spotted heading toward the castle with him.
That seems like a likely next place we should investigate. For now, it is getting late. I have some thinking I'd like to do. I will be just outside if you need me.
Yolanthe pushes away her bowl of half-eaten bowl of stew and half-finished drink and stands up and says, I'm gonna go to the temple real quick and make sure everyone's okay. And then she starts heading towards the door. But as she passes by Talanith, she gives him kind of a look and a real subtle nod towards the door.
Talanith follows.
Val steps outside just behind you both and kind of posts up against the wall. He has his blade just in his hands, and he's kind of looking at it. Looks thoughtful. Good luck with whatever it is you're searching for.
She nods and waves towards Val.
Be
Talanith
safe.
walks up to Val, gives him a fist bump.
Oh,
I'll be here when you return. Good luck.
Talanith nods and walks away.
Let me go ahead and pull you out of the map. Well, I could use a few more drinks.
Tess is with you there. Another round, please.
I used to seeing you drink this much. Are you gonna be okay?
Oh, Tess will be just fine. But a lot to think about. A lot to drink about.
A lot to drink about. Mimics. Scriteau. Yeah. On the house, huh? He places a drink in front of Scriteau, who grabs it with his bird hands.
Tess pats him on the head.
with
He
her
kind of-
bird hands.
With her bird hands. He kind of... Well, he raises the drink up and takes a swig of this ale. A lot to drink about.
That just made me real sad.
Yolanthe and Talana, sorry. As you walk through, once again, the market district, you see a lot of people who are milling about, and occasionally as you walk, you spot you'll spot an individual who approaches a building, looks very confused as to why they're there, and then walks away. You notice as you stroll through the marketplace, many of the buildings that were once bustling and full of activity are now just lifeless, completely empty, devoid of people. It occurs to you that all of those people that once filled out these shops, these places of business, had lives, had people that they knew in town that no longer even remember their existence. How does that make you feel?
Laneth sighs, but
Is this
he doesn't
D&D
really...
therapy?
Yeah.
No, I want to hear
Well,
what
the
your,
sleep
how your
echo.
characters are feeling.
That's definitely one of the things on Yolanthi's mind at present. She has just been walking, kind of like staring straight ahead, very quiet, not even smoking, just kind of walking with this look on her face, like mind blown kind of expression. And then after a little bit, she stops kind of abruptly and looks at Talanith and says, "Hey." Oh, what?
Nope. I heard abruptly and says, "Hey."
She stops where she's walking and she says, "I have something I want to say, and I know it's going to sound real weird."
Laneth looks over at her and says, "Speak your mind."
You heard Ian Fierce saying all that stuff about we may have landed in the wrong plane and everything, right?
I did.
You what? You're cut off, I think.
She says, "I don't think we're the ones that are in the wrong plane."
I'm not sure what to think about that.
I don't know either. I don't. It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. But I mean, if we were in the wrong plane, then I don't know. But there's someone that's supposed to be dead, and she's alive, and she has this mirror she doesn't know how she got. She has this ring that her parents have. I think Sarahi might be, and I don't know how to tell Ian Fear that, because I think he'll be mad. And
You think that she might be hiding something?
I think she's not supposed to be here. I think she's from whatever plane that portal was pointing at and got here somehow, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe it's fine, no, like Ian Fear gets his friend, it's fine, but what if it's not fine? What if that messes something up? I don't know how any of this works.
We'll just have to keep a close eye out and a close ear out.
And she sighs and says, "Yeah, I can't shake the feeling. Something's not right." And, well, anyway, we've got other things enough to worry about right now, I guess. But I just wanted to tell somebody, and I don't really know what to do or if I should do anything.
Just keep your wits about you.
She sighs again and says, "Anyway, I really do want to go to the temple and see everyone there. Are you coming with me, or do you want to go somewhere else?"
Let's go.
Okay. And she nods, and I guess they head on.
When you arrive to the temple, you walk in the doors just as before, and you're greeted by a group of the Druids of Llanwillen, who are accompanied by a familiar face. It's Jalis. There's the token, because I don't have the art available at the moment. who looks up at you and immediately says, "Ah, Yolanthe."
Jealous. Oh, I'm glad to see you.
And you. Seems as though the city's been through a lot. Well, what can the temple do for you?
She kind of looks at Talanith for just a second, and then she kind of leans in a little bit and says, "Is Lanwellin okay?"
I don't know.
Oh, she said that to Jealous.
Oh. Sorry.
As far as we've heard, she's still in the Enchantra. We don't know much more.
Oh, that's not what I was hoping to hear. I hope she was able to. Well, anyway, how is everyone else? Is everyone else okay?
They seem to be. We're doing our best to rebuild. Was there something I could help you with?
No, I just. Can I see her?
Of course. You simply need to go into the Enchantra and conduct the rite. I'm sure she'd
Okay.
grant an audience with you. Do you
Not right
require
now,
my
but
help?
no, you know what? Never mind. It's fine. I just wanted to make sure everything's okay, and it looks like it is. So we'll. And then she kind of starts backing towards the door a little bit. Like, we'll just go ahead and head on out.
As you start toward the door, another elf walks up to Jalis. Elder! Ah, yes. She goes off into conversation with that person. Yolanthe?
Yeah.
You don't recall her being the elder.
Oh. Do I recognize this other girl at all?
No, this seems to be another one of the druids.
Okay. And she kind of stops and gets a real sad look on her face and just kind of turns towards the door to go ahead and leave.
The two of you leave
And-
the temple. As you come outside, there's a man in the streets. One moment here. Pulling him up. A dragonborn, clad in some leather armor, seems to be talking to people in the streets. You see it, don't you? Our great savior. There. And he kind of like gestures vaguely. And he says, "All hail."
All hail?
All hail. I'd like to thank everybody for
Nobody
coming
in
out.
particular? What?
Oh. Oh, wait, okay. Roll a perception check.
Okay, who?
Ooh.
Both of us?
Yeah, both of you. Fuck it.
Okay.
Now I want to show this. Let's go back.
Are you sure you don't want to end on that?
No, go ahead. Roll it.
Okay, alright. God, oh, come on. No, I'm
Wow.
I am gonna. Oh, no. I'm using my inspiration for this.
Okay.
Yeah. What? You gotta be kidding me!
Yolanthe, are you using inspiration too?
Oh my god.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
We locking in?
The dice hate me. What?
Wow. My word, I think these are the first dice we've rolled all day, and they all
It
sucked.
just wasn't.
This is
meant to be.
cursed.
Looking
Okay,
at this,
well, I
looking
hope
at
my
this,
15 did it.
looking at this group of people, he says, "All hail," and then mouths something that you just can't make out. I'd like to thank everybody who came out and has been tuning in for each of these episodes. I hope that you enjoyed the season chapter finale of New Dalancia. And I hope to see you in May when we return after I recover from surgery and all of that. And until then, please stay safe. And as always, keep a song in your heart.